Hi everyone and welcome to your level 5 year meeting. I'm doing this via virtual means because I can't be there in person today, so apologies for that, but I'm sure you all don't mind getting off a bit earlier and maybe sitting and doing this in your own time. I'd like this done before tomorrow, so you can either do it in the allocated time for the session, that was 2 till 4, or you can do it sometime this evening, but if you make sure you do it by today, please. So first of all, just thank you to Lauren and Laura for being our year reps once again. They did it last year and they've continued the role this year, so thank you for that. And also thank you and welcome to Arzu, who's joined our team. And that role's vital really, just a way of getting feedback, picking up on stuff that maybe I'm not aware of. So it's a really important role, so make sure that you use your year reps, and also giving him that sort of credit for taking on that role, because it's not an easy thing to do on top of other commitments as well. So first thing I want you to do is think about how your placement went. And when I worked in practice, I always used to struggle with reflections, and I always needed something to help prompt me. And I used something called The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And this was from Clint Eastwood cowboy films. So the good stuff might be a really positive session that I've had with a client and I've got really good feedback and they've really enjoyed it. Bad might be the session that didn't go so well, maybe didn't go to plan. And the ugly could be those uncomfortable feelings, those difficult conversations that you've got to have. So it might help you think about it. So here, please put your thoughts and feelings on this Padlet, and I've hyperlinked it there, and it should ask you for a password, which is placement. So if you click that, that'll take you straight into the Padlet. So my thoughts and feelings about last placement. So I just want you to write stuff on there, and all you do, you've done Padlets before, so you know, is press the plus and write something there. And if you could put your name on as well, because I'm going to be monitoring who gets engaged with this this year meeting, and I'm going to be providing certificates for those that do get engaged. So if you do it anonymously, I won't know. So if you can put your name on there. Next bit is another Padlet, so we're going to think about how you're feeling about your extended scope placement. So this is a placement that's upcoming that you haven't done yet. It's slightly different from your normal placement because you've not got an OT there. You're going out in pairs. So again, there's a link there that'll take you into the Padlet that I've created. So thoughts, feelings, reflections about upcoming extended scope placement. So you might be worried about there not being an OT yet, or you might be feeling quite liberated by that, you know, that it can give you more flexibility, more autonomy. You might be worried or thinking about who you're going to be partnered up with as well. So write all those thoughts and feelings on there. So once you've done the Padlets, the 2 Padlets, think back on what you've written. Use the 5 areas. Are those thoughts helpful? Are they unhelpful? If they're helpful, great, more of them. If they're unhelpful, how are you going to address that and help you? So the way you think and feel about things can be linked to how competent or how confident you feel. And this is a scale called Benner, B-E-N-N-E-R, and he calls it novice to expert, and he links this to AHP's sort of progression through degree and into practice as well, because this doesn't stop once you're qualified. So starts off at novice. This is where you've got no professional experience at all, so you're all past that stage because you've all had practice placement experience and you've all had a year and a bit of an OT degree, so you're all past novice. So you move into beginner, so that's where you can note recurrent meaningful situations, situational competence, but not prioritise between them. So you know things of significance, but you struggle to sort of prioritise between them. Competent is where you've been able to understand actions in terms of long-range goals. So that comes into the CBT and the behaviours bit and things you might want to challenge and change and work towards. Proficient is perceived situations as wholes rather than in terms of aspects. That's being able to look at situation at whole and how you respond to that, and how you plan for the future. An expert is where you just intuitively have that grasp of situation and you zero in on accurate region of the problem. So this is where you do things quite intuitively without even really thinking about it. And this scale, you'll never it's not a progressional thing, so you don't reach expert and that's it, you stay sitting there forever. Is that actually you can move up and down depending on the situation or experience, and when you're qualified you'll move up and down it as well. So if once you're qualified as an OT, you might become quite proficient in a certain area, but then you might rotate into an area that you're not familiar with, and that might put you back down a level. But I think that's part of development, and that's part about having a good emotional intelligence and insight to know that you're going to move up and down that scale. I still move up and down that scale now, and I've never really perceived myself as expert because I always think there's more to learn and more to do, and I think it's good to have that self-awareness. So what I'd like you to do is a self-rating scale. We did do this at level 4, and I'd like you to do that again, and this is a resource through PebblePad. It's under the resources there, but I've linked it for you. So we did do this after in your level 4, so I want you to do it for PPL 2A, so that's placement you've just had, and basically just rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 5 on how competent and confident you feel, and it asks about lots of different things there, so if you fill that in. And if you also do that after your extended scope as well. Once you've done this, I'd like you to share it with me and also your academic advisor. And again, that's evidence that you've engaged with this e-learning activity. So once you've done the scale, think about what will it take you to move up the scale. So if you've marked yourself a 1 or a 2, how you're going to move up to a 3 or a 4. And I've just put some ideas there, so it might be volunteer work, a one-to-one time with academic advisor, and just sometimes more practice and time. So I thought we'd reflect back on pledges, and I couldn't work out how to hyperlink, so I'm just using it through the Blackboard site. So it'll be under... It's under your learning materials, isn't it? And it's there. So I uploaded this after the last year meeting. So in the session I got you all to write pledges, and I just thought it'd be worth reflecting back on those and see where you are with them. That's my one. And I pledge to support you all the best way I can to become the best OT as you can be. So just reflecting back on that, think about your own pledge and did you recognise your own pledge and how have you got on with that and how are you feeling about that pledge, and think about whether it was realistic and what were the expectations you were putting onto yourself. So the other part of this session is I'm going to be doing something called a student engagement certificate, and what I mean by this is that for people that engage within this e-learning activity, we're going to get a certificate for that. And the way you're going to evidence that is by writing on the Padlets and by sharing your competency scale with myself and your academic advisor. And I'll leave them on Robert Winston Building for the students that engage. Hopefully it'll be you all. And just lastly, just any questions or suggestions, and obviously you've got your year reps, so feed into them. I know they take quite a lot of opportunities to do that, and try and give us the positive as well as the constructive feedback. And I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.